Exactly as we, the French, did at the Renaissance, copying the Italians, and then in the 19th century, all European countries did the same, copying the British, so nothing new under the sun. The Japanese did the same 40 years ago, and then that's the turn of the Chinese. Remember, 30 years ago, we said that the Japanese would never be able to build a car. I mean, look where are the Japanese now, and we said exactly the same with the Koreans 15 years ago. So now that's the turn of the Chinese, and probably in 10 years' time, the Chinese car factories will be as good as those in the West, and 20 years' time maybe they will compete with Airbus. Who knows?
Grassroots presents Beyond Business.
Hello and welcome to this edition of Beyond Business here on France 24. This time around we're turning an eye on China. The Asian giant looks set to pass Germany as the world's third largest economy this year, but critics say part of China's success is built on the back of others. They're accusing Chinese companies of plagiarizing and copying Western ideas and inventions. The Chinese government says it's trying to crack down on counterfeit goods and other violations of intellectual property rights. But is it really enough? Let's take a look at one example of alleged plagiarizing. The German carmaker BMW is accusing the Chinese company Shuanghuan of copying the design of its X5 model.
Toyota, BMW, Mercedes, Jeep. All the major brands were on display at this year's convertible and SUV fair in Paris. But the biggest attraction was Shuanghuan. The Chinese carmaker was already the talk of the town at last year's Frankfurt salon. BMW is accusing it of having copied its X5 model. Imposing yet comfortable, the Shuanghuan CEO has all the characteristics of a top-of-the-line SUV, except the price. The basic model is listed at just 26,000 euros.
In this category of large SUVs in France, the CEO will be between 20 to 30% cheaper than the competition.
For now, the competition doesn't feel too threatened. Shuanghuan is aiming for sales of just 30,000 vehicles in Europe this year, 10% of those in France.
Over the next 2 to 3 years, we will take off in Europe and give the competition a run for their money.
In the meantime, Shuanghuan has to face BMW's charges. Here's how the Shuanghuan CEO compares to the BMW X5. Both SUVs have the same basic design. The CEO has a Mitsubishi engine, the BMW one of its own. Inside, both brands offer a comfortable 5-seat cabin. The trunks are exactly the same, from the door to the depth to the general shape. BMW had no hesitation about suing Shuanghuan.
We think they've plagiarized the design of the X5, so the company executives in Germany have decided to sue.
But the French distributor of the CEO, China Automobile, says there's nothing to worry about.
We're at a car fair. If you look around you right now, you'll see many vehicles that copy or plagiarize other vehicles.
For now, it's hard to predict whether BMW has any chance of winning its plagiarism suit.
Just because they're big and strong doesn't give them the right to do just anything. They have to respect the law, especially outside their own borders. It would probably be different inside China, but abroad they have to learn and understand that there are laws everyone has to obey.
As they wait for the outcome, the Chinese hope to conquer the market with a new marketing concept.
Our strategy today is to create a new category, a new market in France, the luxury low cost.
High-end low cost? That's just a marketing gimmick to get people talking.
Luxury, low cost, why not? As long as the vehicles are safe. And that's an area where the Chinese still have some catching up to do. It's hard to forget the crash tests of the brilliant BS6 made by another Chinese carmaker. They were a failure, to say the least. The car split in two and was recalled from the market in Belgium. The Shuanghuan CEO, however, performed well on crash tests. The second model features 120 modifications compared to the initial version.
All right, BMW isn't the only European car manufacturer complaining about Shuanghuan. Daimler, the owner of Mercedes, complains that the Chinese company has copied its smart Ford 2 minicar. Daimler has said it could go to court to stop this alleged knockoff known as the Shuanghuan Noble from being sold to customers. For more analysis, let's turn now to Jacques Gravreau. He runs a think tank at the French business school HEC, and he advises European companies on how to develop their long-term strategies in Asia. Thank you very much for joining us, Monsieur Gravreau. Let me first ask you, the Chinese government says it's now cracking down on counterfeit goods and other violations of intellectual property rights. Do you think that this is a real attempt by the Chinese government to do so?
Well, they say they do, but it's a national sport of copying and counterfeiting. Exactly as we, the French, did at the Renaissance, copying the Italians, and then in the 19th century, all European countries did the same, copying the British, so nothing new under the sun.